Have these passed out? There are packs of 25s in there. You'll need an ink dispensing device. You should have enough. That's a pen for those of you. And if you're okay, I want to impart in you probably one of the most powerful tools that I've been exposed to after the Bible. And what I want to assist you with, absolutely, is making sense of your people puzzle. You have a human capital inside of you, and I want to provide you insights, the ability to see things others overlook in order for you to be an instrument of change in this world. Make sure everybody has a copy. You have an ink dispensing device. And I'm going to honor the timing. I'm going to bring this little puppy all the way to noon, which means, warning, I'm going to go in a DC fashion. All the fill-in-the-blanks will be provided. You will have all the instructions. I'll be direct, I'll be inspiring, I'll be supportive, and I'll be cautious at the same time. You know, when it comes to communicating across cultures, there's different communication styles. You know, here are the 4 legal F words you can use to better communicate with people. There's a certain group, they want you to be firm. There's another group, they want you to be fun. There's one group that wants you to be friendly, and there's one group that wants you to communicate in a factual way. Communication is simple, it's just not easy. Did you understand what I meant for you to understand? If you remember yesterday when I said, I know you think you understand what I just said, but I'm not really sure that what you understand is what I meant for you to understand. You understand, laddie? That's confusing. But communication is simple, it's just not easy. Right? Because we have our own model, own filters that we've accumulated. So in the first page, okay, you have a whole series of numbers. Here's what I'm going to do. Cole, can you time something for me? So we're going to get 1 minute. You're going to have 1 minute to complete the following assignment. Here's an assignment for you. When I say go, you're going to find number 1, and then you're going to circle it. Stop. Watch over here. Watch over here. Number 1, you're going to find number 1 and circle the number. You're going to find number 2, right beside it. You're going to find number 2 and circle. You're going to circle as many numbers as you can in sequence. Now, last month, the guy circled the whole page. I circled all the numbers. No. You find number 1, you circle. You find number 2, you circle. You circle as many numbers as you can in sequence. On your mark, get set, go. You're on the clock. Tick tock, my friend. This is a time activities. The average will reach up to number 40. All the numbers are there, and they are bilingual. I know what you're thinking. Shut up. But no, I'm going to keep on going. All the numbers are there. You've got to push yourselves. All the numbers are there. Push. You got to go fast. Tick tock, my friend. Got 30 seconds. Got to go, got to do. Don't worry. They're all there. They're all there. Push yourselves. Got to go fast. Ten seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pens, pencils down. All right. Simple show of hands. How many got to number 5? Can I see? Did you get number 5? Keep your hands up. Okay. 5, 10, 15, 20. Whoa. 25, 30, 35. What's your highest number? 30. Anybody higher than 30? Let's give some recognition. All right. We're losing the mass around the 20 mark. Okay? Now, look on top of the page, number 66, you'll see a little tick mark. And on the bottom of the page, 27, you see another tick mark. Divide the page from top down. Straight line. Vertical, all the way down. And then if you look on the left side and the right side of your page, near number 57, you'll see another little tick mark. And beside number 80. So from left to right, divide the page again. And you create these 4 areas. Now, I'm going to do this. I'm going to show you something. Okay, I'm going to do it here. I'm going to do it here. I'm going to do it in the back. So, if you look over here, you'll find number 1, number 2, number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, etc. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Get it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28. Talk faster in French. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this again. Okay? So we're going to put another 1 minute on the clock. When I say go, here's what you're going to do this time. You're going to find number 1. You're going to exit out. You're going to find number 2. You're going to exit out. You're going to exit out as many numbers as you can in sequence. Now, it should be easier this time. The numbers you're looking for, you've already circled on your page. On your mark, get set, go. Oh, now you're smoking. Excellent. We are on time. Doing great. Keep going. You can do this. You can do this. Halfway there. Don't stop. Push yourselves. You guys are smoking. Keep going. 15. Doing great. Keep going. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Stop. Pens, pencils down. All right, first time we did the exercise, we were losing the mass around 20. Xing out the numbers by a simple show of hands. How many Xing out got up to number 20? Right? The mass around 20. Keep them up. 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50. You're the other one? So what's your number? 55. Let's give him some recognition. Okay, first round. Around the 20, 25, we're losing people. Second round, 40 to 45, we're losing the mass. What was the difference between the first time you did the exercise versus the second time you did the exercise? Knew what you were doing, had a pattern, had a method, smaller area to look at. I looked at you the first time you did the exercise. Versus the second time. Would it be fair to say you had more fun the second time? Would it be fair to say there was more anxiety and stress the first time? Here's the point of the exercise. See, the first time you did, there's a high level of stress, anxiety, and there's a low level of productivity. You're averaging in the 20 and 25. The second time you did the exercise, you had more fun. Stress and anxiety had been lowered, and you increased productivity. You doubled. You double in productivity after less than 15 seconds of instructions of a pattern. You had more fun the second time than the first time. That's the point of the exercise. That if you choose to discover, experience, and apply the DISC model of human behavior, it will do two things to you in your business and in your personal life. It will reduce stress and it will increase productivity when interacting with people. You will see that people don't do things to you, they do things for themselves. They have different needs and different expectations. And when you can recognize from which culture that they come from, you're able to recognize the need and meet the expectation. A culture that's more direct, inspiring, supportive, or cautious has different needs, different expectations. So that when you meet somebody for the first time, you can celebrate their differences versus tolerate their differences. Sounds good? Let's get started. Turn the page, open it up. Remember when I divided the room yesterday? That famous question, if you look on the top of the page, you have the word outgoing. If on the bottom, you have the word reserve. If you had to choose right now, you're not locked into this, you can change your mind over lunch. Do you sense on your day-to-day activity you're more outgoing? If it is, circle the word outgoing. If you sense that, you know what, I prefer an environment that's more reserved, excellent, then circle the word reserved. One is not better or worse, it is just different. You've got these two traits in you to a lesser or greater degree. You just have a preference. This is known as the motor of activity. It's almost like God put an engine inside of you. That would be outgoing. Or a reserve engine. I'll change gear. It's reserve, right? It's known as the pace perspective. You cannot not communicate. Now, when you look at, we also have a preface in regards to, it's called the compass of activity, something that gives us an orientation towards task or towards people. One is not better or worse, it is just different. If you sense that you prefer an environment that's task-focused, task-going, let's go, and let's do, then by all means, circle the word task. If you sense that, you know what, I'm more on the people side, I prefer interacting, socializing, having some fun with people, go right ahead and circle that. We have these two traits in us to a lesser or greater degree. But with these two simple questions, the pace perspective versus the priority perspective, you identify a core quadrant. That has got to be what God wired you for. That is the quadrant of your strength. And we tend to borrow from a trait that's right beside. So when you're looking at these, we tend to borrow from traits that are right beside 80% of the time. It's like a country is influenced by another country, but not a country that's across the ocean. See, there's a tendency in regards to this. So on the upper left quadrant, that's the D quadrant. Here's your first, so you see the person pointing? That's pretty much their physiology, right? So here's the first key word. Write the word direct. I'm going to give you words that all starts with the letter D. We know them as our direct temperament style. They tend to be more direct. There's only one way of saying it, and that's the direct way. Number two, they are demanding. Demanding upon themselves and demanding of others. Get ready. Dominant. It's a trait that tends to dominate, as in they will be seen, they will be heard. They tend to come across as more dominant. Followed by the word decisive. Followed by the word decisive. I'm only going to stay in the D column right now. Okay? They're decisive. They make a decision. If that doesn't work, what are they going to do? Make another decision. They are determined. They're lost, but they're making good time. They are determined. Doer, D-O-E-R. They complete a tremendous amount of work. They are doers. And this is where they trip. This is where they're going to get into trouble. They often come across as defiant. And that's where we start labeling and characterizing and pigeonholing, because they come across as defiant. Okay, we're going to have one key. You may want to put that in capital letters. All right? Now let's move into the I quadrant. So that's outgoing and people-oriented. Mr. Happy here. Right? We know them as our inspiring type, as in this culture tends to inspire people to success. They inspire you to the finish line. They are the inspiring style blend. Influencing. They have a great ability of influencing for desired outcome. Influencing. Impressionable. They are fun to watch. My gosh, they're impressionable. See, the best movie they ever saw is the last movie they just saw. The best restaurant they ever ate at is the last restaurant they just ate at. They are impressionable. Why? They are in the moment. They can live life in the moment, not too serious. Come on. Right? They're great at thinking on their feet. Inspiring, influencing, impressionable, interactive. Let's go. Let's interact. That's fun. See, when you come from this quadrant and I'm looking at them over there, I admire them. They have a natural ability of connecting with people. Right? Because this is an area that I'm not familiar with. They are impressive. Impressive. They have so much ability. So much abilities. Impressive. Followed by the word involve. They need to be involved. They're involved in a lot of activities at work or outside of work in the community. They are involved. And this is where they trip and they get into trouble. They often come across as illogical. As in, that just doesn't make any sense. Not illogical as illogical stupid. Illogical as funny. My daughter comes from this quadrant. When she was turning 16, she goes, Mom, Dad, can I have a surprise birthday party? That doesn't make any sense. Well, honey, you won't be a surprise. I know, I'll just pretend. Illogical. This doesn't make any sense. But she's a cutie. Staying on the people side, let's go to the S quadrant all the way in the bottom. Here's the first S word for you, the word supportive. We know them as our supportive style blend. Steady. They are steady, dependable, steady, stable, as in they need a stable environment. They're looking to create a stable environment. Sweet. They are by far the sweetest people you're going to come across. In parentheses, write the word nice. That's where we're going. Because the word sweet can have a negative connotation. Oh, he's so sweet. Oh, she's so sweet. Right? But when we get that they are by far the nicest people, that's what we get. We need more. It's a good thing it's the largest group of general population. Status quo. They enjoy the status quo. They're looking for the status quo because that brings a routine, right? There's no surprises. Next, shy. They initially come across as shy. They're professional listeners. They listen like nobody else can listen. And where they tend to trip, where they tend to get into trouble, they tend to self-sacrifice. They tend to put more on their shoulders than the general population. They tend to self-sacrifice. We're good? From the S, we're going to move to the C quadrant. This culture tends to be more cautious. C-A-U-T-I-O-U-S, cautious. They are calculating. C-A-L-C-U-L-A-T-I-N-G. calculating. Is he going to spell all the words? Not calculating as in, how am I going to get you? Calculating as in they are meticulous. You know, when they go into an elevator, you know what they do? They read the little safety, the safety little, when was it last serviced? Right? What's the capacity of the lift? And you know what they do next? They look how much you weigh, how much you weigh, how much you weigh, how much you weigh. Then they see three like me coming in, so that ain't going to work, I'm going to get out. To tell them stop thinking about it, goody goo goo, what does that mean? Nothing, right? They're always calculating, thinking things through. Competent is your next word. They are by far the smartest people you're going to come across. You know, they come up with things, right? They come up with things and they invent things. They're very competent. Conscientious, absolutely. Absolutely, they are conscientious. So cautious, calculating, competent, conscientious. Contemplative. Let's just think about this for a second. Contemplative. And out of all of them, they are definitely very careful in anything that they undertake. And where do they get into trouble? They often come across as cold. Cold. A good example of that would be when Stephen Harper came on board. First time, minority government. It took a while to warm up to him. His second term, minority government. And the journalists were saying, kind of cold. Then they changed his image, took off the tie, put him behind a piano, brought his kids to school. I don't know if you remember that video. It looked kind of odd, shaking the hands. I would just slow down the car and they would just open the door and no handshakes involved. But he came across as cold. Minority government, minority, majority afterwards. Right? Because it takes a long time to warm up to them. So that does not mean, by the way, that every word in the dictionary that starts with the letter D fits in the D, I, S, and C quadrant. Because you'd say D for dummies, I for idiots, S for stupid, C for crazies. This model was not designed to label, characterize, or pigeonhole. This model was designed to better understand people. So we provide you a letter, D, I, S, and C, as a hook, an anchor, to remember outgoing and task-oriented, outgoing and people-oriented, reserve and people-oriented, reserve and task-oriented. We have the letters D, I, S, and C, and you read it clockwise, not left to right. It's not called the Dix model. It's called the DISC model of human behavior. And then we have a letter, as in a culture that's more direct, inspiring, supportive, and cautious. We also have colors that we talked about as a hook to help us remember. Green for, green traffic light, go. Red, fiery red, we're drawn to the sun, we're drawn to them, they're a people magnet. S is all about blue, blue skies, blue ocean, blue waterfalls, sign a document in blue, not in red ink. And yellow, yellow traffic light, yellow for, cautious. Right? Traffic light, unless you're in Quebec, it means go faster when you see it. See, if you come to a four-way stop in Saskatchewan, there's no police officers hidden anywhere. You can see for miles. There's a four-way stop. Does the high C temperament style stop? Yes. S, absolutely. D, it's optional. And the I, there was a stop sign? A cluistic, one without a clue. Yeah. So, back to the D quadrant, that guy that's pointing at you. Yesterday I shared, there's no filling underneath that picture. I want you to write these three words. underneath the picture of the guy that's pointing, write the word choices, challenges, and control. If there's one thing for you to memorize, it's those three words. As soon as you meet somebody for the first time and you're sensing that they're strong in this quadrant, what they will need from you is choices, challenges, and control. They're looking for options. So when it comes to presenting an idea and getting buy-in, if you don't have this, it doesn't work. And this choices, challenge, and control applies to a baby boomer, generation XYZ, or a millennial. Because it's behavioral based. It's how God wired them. We are the sum of all of our experiences and the sum of all of our ancestors. That's how God wired us. Now from an I, Mr. Happy here, recognition, approval, popularity. Write those three words underneath that picture. That is the one thing to memorize by heart. We go to school and we have to memorize our table. Well, at least back then we did. 2 times 2 equals, like we had to remember that by heart, guys. We were told, our teachers would tell us, you will always be using this for the rest of your life. So it's worth learning. Guess what? Recognition, approval, popularity. Recognition, approval, popularity. You want to present an idea for them to come to the Lord? Recognition, approval, popularity. Ain't going to work if you're going to use another approach. Right? All the way down back to the S quadrant. The 3 non-negotiables for them: security, appreciation, and assurance. You need to provide a sense of security for them to feel safe. Appreciation as in sincere appreciation. They are very good at reading human behavior. They're very intuitive. And assurance in the sense of reassurance. You're going to have to repeat yourself over and over and over. And from the C culture, we're talking here the 3 non-negotiables, which are quality answers, value, and excellence. Quality answers, value, and excellence. If you're going to do something, do it with excellence. That's why we're so hard on ourselves. If you have this trait in you to a lesser or greater degree, we're so hard on ourselves. Maybe that's what I was living yesterday. Right? With all the rocks, everyone had like scriptures. I didn't even bring my Bible. I'm like, oh my gosh, and I was whining, right? We're hard on ourselves because we're making it all about us. You know, this group here, the happiest day of their parents' life is the day that they left home because their parents got control of the house again. This group over here, the saddest day of their parents' life is the day they left home. All the fun left. This house became very, very quiet. This group over here never left home. And if they were forced out at the age of 36, they call or visit every day. Now this group, they bought their parents' house and they're renting them a room. It's only logical that it should stay in the family. Right? So, let's go back in the D quadrant. Let's go back in the D quadrant. I like to win. They're all about the win. Okay, so the fill in the blank. I like to win. I like to plan for the future. Absolutely. I like new ideas. I like results. So that's win, future, ideas, results. I like to be my own boss. See, they already know the answers. I like to move fast. And I like a challenge. Absolutely. Let's move to the I quadrant. I like to be liked. Do you like me? Okay, enough about me. Let's talk about you. How do you like me? It's all about being liked. I like to express my ideas and feelings. I like being in front of a group. That's your calling. I like surprises. There's certain traits that don't like surprises, but they do. The bigger, the better. I like lots of fun activities. And I like recognition. They'll have something on them that can tell a story, so let's go. Give him some recognition. From the S, I like to be accepted. See how it's similar? I like to be liked, but over here, I like to be accepted, as in to be part of a community. Right? They want to be accepted. Am I going to be accepted at your church? I like teamwork. They're all about the team. They will sacrifice for the team. They'll go to war for the team. I don't know if you know who Jerome Bennis is. You know the bus? He used to be a running back for Pittsburgh Steelers. He was at training, and we had divided the room, and Jerome was in the S quadrant. But you've got the ring. You're a football player. You've got the, what are you doing there? Shouldn't you be over here? Jerome said, I never played football to hurt people. I played football not to let my team down. Like he was always playing football for the team. Not for me, myself, and I. Jerome, like high-ass temperament style. Oh my gosh, you'd never think, right? But he's all about the team and cooperation. Let's work together. Let's collaborate. It's called cooperation. I like sticking with what works. Why reinvent the wheel? See, they're looking for the easiest way to simplify to keep the peace and the harmony. They're not looking to cut corners. They're looking to keep the peace and the harmony. So they're sticking with what works. I like harmony. That culture enjoys, loves harmony. I like things to stay the same. That's the routine. That's the status quo. That's so securing. Why do we have to change things? I like peace. Some of you are meeting yourself for the first time. And for the C quadrant, I like to be right. You know, even the personalities apologizes differently. This is how a high D would go about apologizing. Sorry. We good? High I. Oops. Sorry. My bad. I'm human. Do you like me now? High S. Oh, no, I'm so sorry. No, that's not what I meant to say. Please accept my apologies. Oh, could we start over? It's my fault. I wasn't thinking, and I went straight through, and please, can I get you a cup of coffee? Can we start over? Sincerely, please accept my apologies. I didn't mean to use the word that I used. I see. They don't make mistakes, so they shouldn't apologize, right? C's, I like to be right. I like to know what is expected of me. They want to know the expectation because they probably want to prepare. I like to an established pattern or plan. I like clear instructions. Can you just imagine the people on the committee to prepare one of these? And Sean, right, he's getting all these questions, bottom line questions for the D, right? Fun questions for the I, what's for lunch? S, questions of how can I help, how can I help, how can I help, how can I help? And C, what's the plan? What's the instructions? Like, who do you think is going to have the most questions out of the whole group? Right? Sean has to be very, very patient. I like finishing what I start. It's very important from a C culture. And of course, I like organizing things. They're gifted in this way. They come in and they can just see, well, if we put this there, that there, that there, set that up. They just organize things so that it flows. So we've done 2 rounds of information here. Now look closer to the center. You have the picture and you've got the percentages and it's blank. So back in the D quadrant, if you remember yesterday on the slide deck that I showed, we're looking at 10 to 15%, plus or minus, give or take, comes from this culture. So in the D, 10 to 15%. In the I quadrant, you're looking at 25 to 30%. Again, plus or minus, give or take. It's not precise science. In the S quadrant, you're looking at the largest group, general population, 30 to 35. Will come from this perspective first. And in the C, 20 to 25% comes from this quadrant. 25 to 30% for the I quadrant. So here's a secret tip for the D's. Before you can be in authority, you must first learn to be under authority. I remember in September of 1999, I was not the best candidate to have at training. I was with Dr. Robert Rome in Atlanta, Georgia. You see, as a trained interrogator, as a trained contact handler, how do you diversify? I needed a certificate, a completion, something. And there was a behavioral studies accreditation to be a certified human behavior consultant. So it started back in 1999. And day 1 of training, at one point, Dr. Rome said, JJ, there's 2 rules you need to learn. Okay? There is a God? Yeah. And it's not you. Can we talk about that? But this quote, before you can be in authority, you must first learn to be under authority, under His authority. Eyes, it's nice to be important. It's more important to be nice. That tongue, careful. From an S perspective, look at this. Your security comes from your ability to outperform your fears. It's okay to say no. That quadrant worries, it's so good in nature, they worry more than the general population. They worry before an event, they worry during an event, and they worry after the event. And when it's all said and done, they worry they haven't worried enough. They worry. Why? They just want to make sure that everyone's needs have been met. And the last one from the C, oh, you must have seen this one before, right? People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care.